Hi friends, this is Ms. Kat, one of the STEM educators at Boys and Girls Club, and today I want to talk about one of my favorite science subjects, astronomy. Astronomy is the study of space, stars, planets, and everything else that could possibly be in the universe. And within astronomy, today I want to be talking about moon phases, or why the moon looks different day by day. So before we start talking about the moon, I want to talk about the sun and the earth. The sun is at the center of our solar system, and all of the planets, including Earth, orbit the sun, or go around it. So just like the Earth goes around the sun, our moon goes around the Earth, or orbits the Earth. So here I have a little model of the moon, the Earth, and the sun. And the sun is much, much bigger than the Earth, about 110 times bigger, while the moon is about 1/3 or 1/4 the size of Earth. And you can see how the moon is just orbiting the Earth right now. So like I said, as the Earth orbits the sun, the moon orbits the Earth. Something else I want to point out before we start is that the moon will always only be half lit, which means that you will never have light hitting all sides of the moon. Half of the moon will always be in darkness and half of the moon will always be in light. And the side that is in light is the side facing towards the sun. We can also only see half of the moon because we are standing on Earth and cannot see the other half. So the moon phases are dependent on where the light is hitting it from what angle. So now let's start talking about the moon phases. The first moon phase we're going to talk about is the new moon, or as you might see it in the sky, the dark or invisible moon. This moon phase looks dark to us because the sun is hitting half of the moon and we are seeing the dark half because the light half is facing away from us because the moon is between the Earth and the sun. After the first phase of the new moon, then comes the next phase, which is the waxing crescent. The crescent phase kind of looks like the moon that you see in the DreamWorks logo, and so that's a way to remember this one. It only appears as a crescent because the half that is illuminated by the sun, we can only see a small portion of it. Because we only see a small portion of the light, that means we're going to see mostly darkness on the moon. After the waxing crescent is the first quarter, or a half moon. This phase occurs when we can only see half of the illuminated side of the moon, and the other half is the dark side. It's called a quarter moon because we're only seeing half of the half that is illuminated, which makes a quarter. So the next phase is the waxing gibbous, and this phase is almost a full moon, but it's not quite there yet. During this phase, the half that we can see from Earth, we can see most of the illuminated half that is illuminated by the sun, and then a small portion of the dark side. So now we're halfway through, and the next phase of the moon phases is a full moon, where we can see the full half being illuminated by the sun. So we can't see the dark half of the moon because we are facing the illuminated half. A full moon only occurs when the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth from the sun. So the Earth is in between the moon and the sun. So up until this point, we have been calling the phases waxing, which means growing because the light was getting bigger and bigger on the moon. But now we are changing to waning. So our next phase is the waning gibbous. Just like the waxing gibbous, this phase resembles very similarly to the full moon, but not quite there yet. The light is going to be on the left side of the moon this time because the sun is directly hitting that side of the moon. And this is where we're going to see mostly the lit part, and we're going to see just a little of the dark part. The next phase that we have is the third quarter, which is very similar to the first quarter, except the light is going to be on the left side because, like I said before, the sun is hitting the moon on the left side. Also, like I said with the first quarter, it's called a third quarter because we are seeing half of the moon that is illuminated. The next and last phase of the moon phases is the waning crescent. And this is just very similar to the waxing crescent, except the light is going to be on the left side. So the waning crescent, we are going to see a small sliver of the illuminated part of the sun because we are seeing the half that has mostly darkness, but there is still some light left. So after the waning crescent is the new moon again, and then the cycle starts all over again. So that's my lesson about moon phases. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more astronomy videos.